Hi, welcome to Glow's Kindred Kitchen, and I'm Glow. Well, it's Monday morning, and before I leave to go to work, I have decided to make some country-style pork ribs in my crock pot. It's a very easy recipe. The original recipe calls for pork chops, but through the years I have done both that and the country-style ribs, and I actually prefer the country-style ribs. The recipe originally is out of the Creme de Colorado cookbook. There isn't one thing I've made out of this cookbook that's been bad. And the one that I'm making today is called Pitkin County pork chops, but of course I'm using the country style ribs. And I've made this for dinner parties and just for family, and it is delicious. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing you want to do is we're going to be browning these in my Dutch oven. Now you can do this in the oven. The original recipe says to broil these these ribs under the broiler for 5 minutes and then bake them. But today I'm going to brown them in my pan and then transfer them to my crock pot and let my crock pot work for me today while I'm at work. So let's go ahead and get started. We need to make a paste to go on these ribs so I can brown them. And what it is 2 tablespoons of butter. And this is room temperature butter, but of course it's not summertime, so
it's hard butter.
Not super hard, but it's not like melted butter by any means, like in the summertime. Now this is a half of a cup of finely chopped onion and 2 cloves of garlic. If your garlic cloves are small, use 3. There we go. And then it says to use 1 teaspoon of salt. And this is iodized sea salt I'm using today. There we go. And then it says 1/4 of a teaspoon of yellow mustard. So I have yellow mustard here, and we're going to go ahead and put that in. When I'm making this, usually I eyeball like the mustard and stuff. When you're cooking dishes like this, it's not so critical that you be exactly accurate on it like when you're baking. But for today, I did go ahead and measure this for us. There we go. And the next thing it calls for is 1/4 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. If your family doesn't like a lot of heat, cut it back. Use just like 1/8 of a teaspoon. It'll be fine. Just remember, you know what your family likes, so you can always vamp a recipe to work for you. This is apple cider vinegar, and it calls for 2 tablespoons. And 2 tablespoons of light brown sugar. So now all we have to do is mix this up and then spread it on our country style pork ribs. So I'm going to go ahead and continue mixing this, and I'll be back and I'll show you the next step.
Go.
Hi, well now, see the sauce, isn't that a beautiful sauce? That mustard and brown sugar and vinegar and everything on there, this is delicious. So I've got my pan on medium-low, and I actually could turn it up a little. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to brown these kind of like what would happen in the broiler. And I'm going to do 2 batches because I don't want to overcrowd my pan here. So I'll be back in a few minutes when I'm ready to turn these, and then we'll go on to the next step. Hi, well, it's been about 5 minutes. Let's take a look here. When they release so easy like that, you know that they're ready to turn. And look at that beautiful browning we got going on there.
Yeah, it smells great.
Thank you. I did turn up my heat to medium-high right now. And that was to help sear it better. And the other thing I did do is I put a tiny bit of cooking oil in the bottom of my pan. One of the reasons I chose this type of pan over a frying pan is because it won't splatter as much and make such a mess for us. So I'm going to continue to let this cook. And I also meant to tell you, I always take my meat, like my country style ribs, out of my refrigerator and let them set on my counter for a good half hour to bring them up to room temperature before I start cooking. I find that it works a lot better. So I'll be back again in just a little bit. Well, these have browned enough. See?
Looks good.
Yes. And by browning this is our friend. It's going to give us a lot of flavor. That if you just cooked it in the crock pot without doing this step, you wouldn't have that flavor.
The mustard really smells good.
Yeah, this is just a delicious recipe. So now here we go with the next two. So I have a total of 5 here. That's about 2 pounds. 2.5 pounds. So anyway, I will continue to brown these and then I'll be back and we'll go on to the next step. Well, I just turned these and they're going to continue, and I'm going to just turn that down just a tad. And we're going to make the sauce now that's going to go on top of these ribs. So what we do is I have 3/4 of a cup of ketchup. And then we need 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. And I really could have put the Worcestershire sauce in with the mustard sauce, but I didn't this time. But these type of recipes are very forgiving, so don't sweat it if you didn't put one thing in one and you're going to put it in another, because it'll be fine. So I'm just going to stir this. And then the other thing it calls for is a 1/2 cup of chili sauce. So I'm going to put that in here as well. But and then 1/3 cup of water. But I need to deglaze my pan over here, so I'll be deglazing it with the water. And that way we get all those nice little tidbits out of the pan that we're cooking these ribs in right now. See if these are ready to turn. I think they are. So I'm going to pull these out, put them in here, and just nestle them in. Let's see here. It's like a puzzle. Trying to get them all to fit in here nicely. And as they cook, they're going to, settle in here even better. There we go. So let me put this over here. And I'm going to take a spoon here and stir this up a little. What I want is to get all that brown goodness off of the bottom here.
Right.
A little of this water in here. That was probably at the most 1/8 cup of water I put in there. Maybe 1/4, but not much. See, and how that just took that right off the bottom?
Yes, it did.
Oh, you guys, I wish we had smell-o-vision, because this just smells so good. Even early in the morning.
It does.
Richard's going to be smelling this all day while I'm gone.
That's okay with me.
Okay, so let me get a pot holder over here. And see if we can... I turned my burner off. Let's see if I can do this so you guys can watch too. Let me get my spoon. The handles on this pot are a little hot. And I'm sorry I've turned this away from you, but...
It's okay. Safety first.
You're going to see the end result here. Let's see if I can get it. This sauce is so good, you just don't want to waste it. So by using a rubber spatula, it helps too to get, yep, see? There we go. So, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put the sauce in here. Let me get another bowl. I'll be right back. I'm gonna get a bowl and we can mix this all together before we put it in. Well, I've got my bowl here, and I have 3/4 of a cup of the ketchup, and then I have the 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, and then I also put in a 1/2 cup of chili sauce, but it was the end of my bottle. So that 1/3 of a cup of water, I put a little bit of it in this pan, and the rest I put in here, and I'm gonna shake this up so I don't waste what I have left in this bottle. And there it goes. I'm going to just stir this up. Oh, you guys, it smells so good. And I'm just going to pour this over these ribs. Look at that. Doesn't that look delicious?
It does.
And putting this together is so easy, as you can tell. And if you do everything up in advance, as far as your measuring and stuff, you can tell it just goes together super fast. So, that's all there is to it. I'm going to put my lid on it. I'm going to be cooking this on low all day. Let's see. I'm going to do it for 10 hours. And that's it, you guys. I'm going to have dinner when I walk in the house. The only thing I'm going to need to do is I serve this with pasta. So I'll be cooking the pasta, and then I'll just do a vegetable on the side. So I'll see you back in about 10 hours or so.
See you after work.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Well, I just got home from work, and I got to tell you, it smells awesome in here. When you use your crock pot during the day and you're gone and you come home, it's just like heaven. It just smells so good. So anyway, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do next. My crock pot's on warm, and it's been on warm for some time now, and I boiled my water for my pasta. Tonight we're going to be using this pasta that we just kind of ran across a couple of years ago, and I believe it's called casarecce, and it's really nice pasta. When we bought it, we didn't know really what we were getting, but we're always willing to try new things. And it's like twisted, and it folds over itself. And when it cooks, the texture of it is wonderful. It goes really well with sauces. And if you've never tried it, by all means, if you've run across it, give it a try. So I'm going to go ahead, my water's to a boil. And I'm going to turn it up a little now. It was a rolling boil there a moment ago. And I'm going to put about 1/2 bag in, about 8 ounces. That'll be plenty for us. Yeah, that's about 8 ounces, maybe a tad more. So I'm going to bring that back up to a full boil. And I'm going to put in some salt. And remember, when you cook pasta or if you cook potatoes, you want your water to taste like the sea. So make sure you put enough in there. And that's probably plenty. You always want to make sure that your water is nice and hot so that the salt dissolves before it gets down into the bottom of the pot. And what does it do, Richard, if it gets down there?
It pits the bottom.
Pits the pot.
I was going to ask you, how much salt was that, do you think?
I would say that's a good 2 teaspoons.
Okay, fine.
So we're going to go ahead and let that come to a good boil, and we're going to turn it down so it's not a rolling boil. And in the meantime, let's take a look at these ribs that we started this morning. I always lift my lid away And let's put my lid over here and get it out of the way. Let's see what we got here.
There'll be 5 in there. Hopefully. Nobody ate one.
Look at that.
Looks good.
Yeah, and it's so tender. I can just, see how you can just break that off? So there is some oil in here. I'm going to try and get a little bit of that off if I can. And I'll show you what it kind of looks like. See? Here. I always keep leftover jars. And I'm going to just try and get that little bit of oil that's on the top off.
How's that boil doing over there?
It's boiling, isn't it? I'll turn it down. I know it's making you nervous.
I'm not nervous. I'm just wondering if it would reach its
getting
point.
Hot?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's hot, all right.
All right. He's awfully close to that pot.
It's a rolling boil going on here.
So, can you see how we're getting that oil? Can you see that in the bottom of that jar there?
Hold it still. Yes,
sorry.
I see it.
Okay, so I'm going to continue to get this oil off and put it in this jar. And I'll be back. The pasta's busy cooking away here. It takes about 10 minutes. And I'll be back and we're going to sample this. Well, our pasta's done. I just turned off the burner. I am going to reserve a little bit of this pasta water because I usually put a little bit into my sauce, especially when it's cooked a long time like this. It probably needs a little refresher. So in this pasta water is perfect for that. There we go. Now I'm going to just take my pot, and I have a colander right here. I'm just going to pour this in, let this pasta drain, and let's put this pot right here. It's hot, and that burner is hot. And let's take a look at this again. I'll put my lid over here. And one of the things I want to do is to remove some of these bones. This will just show you how done this is.
Yeah, there were 5 in there this morning. Now it's just a
now it's really nice pieces of meat.
Conglomeration of meat, yes.
Yep.
Lucy, calm down.
Lucy knows. She's been patient all day too, I bet. Yep. So I just kind of fish through here and see if I can find the bones, and if I see them, I take them out. So you can see how nice and tender all this is. I think that might be it for the, oh, no, here's one, I think. Nope. I'll just put that there.
How many bones do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4.
And I'm just going to take and drizzle this water over to start with. I'm going to just saw another bone. Let's and remove that. But look how nice that looks.
Looks good, Miss Collins. Ready to eat.
So good. Oh, just heard a bone right there.
Heard it or felt it?
I heard it and then felt it. There we go. So I'll just put a little bit more. Just really helps the sauce to get velvety and away from cooking for so long. Doesn't that look delicious?
It does.
So, let's go ahead and this pasta in here. And usually what I do is I'm going to get a plate and I'm going to plate some up, and then I'll show you how we do it. But when I serve it, I put the sauce in one bowl and the pasta in a separate bowl. And that way they can put, whoever's eating can put the amount of meat and sauce they want on their pasta. So anyway, I'll be back in a moment. Well, look at this, you guys.
Looks good to me.
It smells so good. If it tastes as good as it smells, we're going to have a delicious dinner. This is a great dinner that has sweet, sour, and spice to it. Most people really like it. And after we had stopped to take pictures and everything, and for me to sample this now, I went ahead and added the rest of that pasta water that I had reserved. So I did use 3/4 of a cup of pasta water in here. But look at this, you guys. It makes a really nice velvety sauce. So that's just a little trick. Don't throw out your pasta water and your potato water, rice water, whatever, because you can use that for your sauces. It really just enhances it. So anyway, I decided to do steamed broccoli with dinner tonight. Always make sure that you serve a vegetable along with your dinner. It's real important that we have that in our diet, that and fruit. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and try this. And quit talking. This is so good. I'm going to have another bite. And these noodles are perfect with it because it grabs that sauce and keeps it there. And they're kind of rustic as far as their texture. They're just delicious. That meat is so juicy and tender. It is so good. I actually have used this recipe also with chicken, and it's delicious as well. I think I like the pork a little bit better, but they're both very good. This is just delicious, you guys. I'm going to try a piece of the broccoli too. When you steam broccoli, it brings out a sweetness to it. You don't even need to add anything to it. I didn't add salt or anything, just a little bit of water to steam it. I do need to share with you, we reviewed the video from this morning. When I was doing the mustard, I believe I said it was 1/4 teaspoon of mustard. What a joke. There's 1/4 cup of mustard in that. So I'm sorry about that. But anyway, gosh, I wish you guys were here to try this. And when you try this, let me know what you think. I would really appreciate it, and give me some comments. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do, and give me a thumbs up. And I hope you have a wonderful evening. We'll talk to you later. Bye.